Well, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Ripples Rising. Empowering voices, creating waves of change. I'm here again with Kelly Marie. You know, the last time we spoke, it was more about the work, some work in Northwest Arkansas area and what we are doing as realtors. But today we're going to talk more about relationships. And so Kelly Marie and I were speaking a while back, and it was more about, we're having this topic of don't rescue me.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so, you know, it's very important because honestly, I mean, I've been married 15 years next week. Wow, my second marriage. And I've been single most of my life. And I hope other women, when you find yourself single, that you have to power on.
Yeah, power out. Don't panic. You're
Power
good.
on, don't panic. So, Kelly's, we're going to talk about a topic like don't rescue me. We've got this. What do you think?
I love that. I love that topic. I think it's so important. I think we have been raised in a time where if you're not married, what's the matter with you? You a spinster, you're an old maid. All of these labels are put on us that make us feel a little bit of a panic. I know it certainly has for myself. It's like, gosh, is this ever going to happen for me? And you know what? It hasn't yet, and I'm okay with that. I didn't want to remarry when I left my boy's father because I didn't want to be identifying as a mom through this whole thing. I didn't want to marry someone who saw me just as that. I didn't need a father for my kids. I didn't, and everybody, when they see a single mom, not everybody, I'm sorry for speaking in generalizations, but there is this sense of we need to rescue this poor little damsel.
Oh,
And rescue her poor little children. Oh, I can step in and save the day. And you know what? I've got this. And I had it.
and sometimes these men, they're really, they're just little boys in big men suits.
It doesn't matter the age,
No.
which has been so odd.
Odd.
Yes, I thought, well, maybe I've got daddy issues. Who knows what it is? But I
Yeah.
like older men.
Yes.
I like established men.
Yeah.
I like men that can think for themselves and are
Yeah.
independent.
Yeah.
And I am too.
Exactly.
And so I want them to respect that
Right.
instead of burring in. And so many of them say, oh, I respect so much that you're an independent woman. Look at what a fighter you are. You're still hustling. You're still in the grind. Man, I've got so much love and respect for that. But then you get into a relationship with them and they're
Yeah.
constantly just diddling over you, just trying to fix it and mansplaining.
Mansplaining. Because then you find yourself under their roof, and by all of a sudden they may change.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does. And so she touched on the daddy issue thing. My parents were divorced. My dad was MIA. I mean, he's missing. He's doing his thing, and God love him, but he's off doing his thing. And yeah, mom kind of raised uh, me, and well, she did raise me very well to be very independent. And the same thing, I was dating men, 15 to 20 years older than me. Sometimes it works.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And there's
we
nothing
shouldn't
wrong
be
with that.
shamed for whether we're a cougar that's going for younger men.
Yeah.
I mean, good for you.
Yeah.
Or if you like older men, it
Yeah.
doesn't mean like you get the label of daddy issues. But
Yeah.
we've all had issues with our parents. It's all
That's right.
relative. Pain from a parent is this person's worst pain from a parent,
Yes.
which is the same, although measured differently. But it's still it is the worst thing you felt from either parent. It's just simply that. It's not on a measurable scale.
And so when we're with these older, more mature men, you expect them to be more mature.
Yeah.
Because they've had a thriving business, maybe they're retired, they've done well in work, but maybe there's a reason they are divorced or never married. And so lightly touch on some of your experiences. and I met Kelly through a mutual friend of my husband's, and that's how I met Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he was a little bit older than her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling a synopsis is, then after that didn't work out, then she found an older man
Mm-hmm.
to date, which you would think would be even more mature than this other mature man. And they're both little boys in big man suits.
And I learned that lesson right then and there. I thought, I am looking for stability in these older men.
Yes.
More than anything. I'm just looking for stability. And I'm not even thinking about it like that anymore. I've decided I've fixed my daddy issues. I mean, I don't need that.
No.
And more than anything, I think the generation differentiation or differential is a little bit harder to gap once you are both older. I'm older and then they're older. But I now, and to both of them, I said, at several points, you're going to want to rescue me. And I'm going to tell you now, I will be offended by that.
Yes.
I don't need to be rescued.
Don't need to be rescued.
I don't need it. I'm going to look like I might, but just give me a high five and a hug.
Support.
Yes. But in a not financial way.
No.
Many a times it's easy for someone who has means to just throw means at the problem. And I don't need that.
No.
I've got my own means and I'm insulted by someone else assuming that I need theirs. But I do need their support as far as a hug. Or, hey, let me take you to dinner tonight.
Yes.
Or get your feet up, girl. Come and sit down. Sometimes people have to make me sit down. You are that way as well. My mom was even just like you. In fact, we would joke that if mom ever lost her mind, we would just hand her a rag and some Pine Sol, and she would just because that's all she would busy herself with work instead of conversing, frankly. And so I digress, but yeah, I don't want to be rescued. I do need someone who's going to have my back. We talked about safety and how you shouldn't be bold, you should be safe. But safe is a symptom of a greater thing, of a greater mission. And I feel like when you have a partner, you do have a sense of safety. Well, that safety isn't there if they think they can rescue you or if they are threatened by your strength, which is most often what I'm finding. Is they are ultimately, oh, absolutely support, love, let's do this, whatever. And then I get in there with them in a relationship where they think they've got me locked down. And then I discover there's so much insecurity there. I make this person actually feel insecure about themselves. This person needs to have a nap in the middle of the day in order to go on. I can't fall asleep till 3 a.m. So because of that sort of thing, it is a rub often to an accomplished man, especially when he is in retirement age or nearing those retirement years. Because he's in a change of life that he's having to reconcile himself with. And that's very difficult to do. And I don't know anything about that. I'm here. I am barely not bleeding or on fire right now. Right. So I am going to be diligent in this task, and I don't need you to do anything. No. But like you said, emotional support.
You know, the men, I think it is the insecurity. And it's interesting, when I was in Dallas doing commercial real estate, just saying that all these commercial real estate brokers, all this, no, we were colleagues in the business, but I never dated any of them. Who did I date was developers. And they were, entrepreneurial. And that's something else, Kelly, because we're in commercial real estate. If we don't work, we don't make a check.
Right.
And my first marriage, my first husband, he was an employee of an engineering company. And he was very good at what he did, but in the event he wasn't, it would maybe be, I would say, 2 or 3 months down the road before somebody in that company would recognize that. So I think, generally speaking, it takes an entrepreneur to know an entrepreneur. And most of the relationships I have had in my life were entrepreneurial men, and they understood that of risk taking, not just going to a job 8 to 5, that there's risk out here, that you've got to get things going and done and do payroll and have employees and have accounts receivable and get product out, or have to work and sell and market, or you don't have it, period. You gotta put bustle in your hustle. Bustle in your hustle. You gotta put bustle in our hustle.
I think one thing that's hard is, as strong, independent females, that's an alpha energy, right?
Alpha.
And we're not looking for betas to our alpha. we are looking for a partnership of alpha energy. You have
Oh,
to be as alpha as I am, frankly,
partners.
or it isn't working.
It's not working.
It's an unequal yoking,
It
frankly.
is.
And so it's not that we need someone to be second. No,
Nope.
be you and be in your power,
Yes.
in your wheelhouse, and let's find a way where we can co-mingle and come together, relax together, so many things, but then also maybe even operate a business together, but not as a handout
No.
or a hand up or any of those things. Respect me as a woman. Respect me as a woman who may be struggling to you in comparison, but I'm fine. I've got this. Just hold my beer.
Hold my beer, I've got it. Boy, yeah, the relate. I just could not imagine now. I mean, I was single, for around 10 years or so after my first marriage, and I had relationships in Dallas, and then returning to Northwest Arkansas 20 plus years ago. It was difficult, and I just cannot imagine now because the social media aspect and how I don't think in a way that the people can grow themselves, grow in communication and relationship when they've got their nose on the screen all the time either.
And that's definitely a thing. That's definitely a thing that we can all do better at. They say the only way to date nowadays is through the apps. But, I mean, I don't know. Clearly, I'm single. But I'd like to meet somebody at the grocery store. I dress up to go to the convenience store on the corner to get my cup of ice because I never know what I'm going to see. And just getting out. I think getting out is just so important. I think if the enemy could just totally isolate us, he would, just like an abuser isolates the person that they are abusing.
That's right.
We can do that to ourselves and allow ourselves to be trapped in our own space instead of venturing out because, dadgummit, I don't want to get the car going. I don't want to go down the stairs. Whatever the case may be, we've got a million excuses. It's really comfortable to stay at home, but life is not about being comfortable. It's about charging out there. It's about being independent, and do not look for a rescuer. I caution all of you in that regard, please. And notice that need to rescue you is an insecurity in them, and you may not be able to fix that. You have to weigh and measure and decide if that's something you want to take on. Because if your spirit is dimmed, if your light is dimmed in any way by someone who is constantly trying to scoop you in or throw means at you, and throw provision at you or use provision against you, quite frankly, like you could have this all if you would just date me, man, that's something I would really caution you for. That is an insecurity. It's a mask. And if you're a Spitfire, you're going to have some issues with that, and that's okay. It's better to be single.
It is. That's and I because I was single for quite a bit, and I respect my single friends because they have to learn how to swim with the sharks out here in relationships as well as in work. Both.
No one's got our backs, but at the same time, there is God's provision every time you turn around. He's not going to let anybody just wither away. You're not a spinster. You're not an old maid. Those labels are not true. It's not how the greater powers see us. They simply want to see you be strong. And I find in my friends, in my kids, I have everything that I need.
Yeah.
It's not in a human male, and I'm okay with that. That'll come when it comes. That'll come when it comes.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Ripples Rising, empowering voices, creating waves of change. There are no waves this evening on the lake, on Beaver Lake. I want to do a real quick video clip here. This has been my dad and my stepmother's property for a very, very long time. There's some of my cows, their babies. I've got around 25 cows and about 15 babies right now, so they're coming on. So I'm doing this twofold. One, for my own self, and two, because I've been interviewing down here. I call it the lake house, and I'm gonna lose my outdoor studio because I'm selling this house on 5 acres to my stepniece, which is my stepmother's granddaughter. So like the beautiful red maple tree and the other trees turning yellow and gold, and it's time of change. Time of change. So we're in November, the last weekend of the beautiful fall foliage. This was the driveway with the carport. My dad and stepmother built this house like in 1972, right here on the point of Beaver Lake, and this is Friendship Creek. There's a 2-slip boat dock there that comes with the property. I call this the party barn. My dad and stepmother had a lot of fish fries, hosted fish fries out here. My father had been president of the Arkansas Cattlemen's Association, so they had a lot of parties out here. It's a very beautiful old magnolia tree. All these trees are what my dad and stepmother had planted. Beautiful magnolia tree. And these pine trees. We'll just go quickly through the house. I think it's just interesting. I've used this as an Airbnb the last 3 years. I had some long-term tenants in here, which were fantastic. And then some weekend Airbnbs. People just loved the popcorn ceiling and the, yes, paneling. It's so unique anymore. Make a left turn here. I had gotten rid of the pink and green carpet and put in this tile linoleum floor later. My stepmother loved pink, which I hate pink, but you see this was their main bedroom here. And it's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, and each room has a sliding glass door to go out to the back patio. This is called an abalone shell. Very interesting and unique. And so this was the main bath. Notice the dandelion on the toilet lid. Pink towel in remembrance of my stepmother. Her and my father loved to go hunting. She was about as good a shot as he was, actually. This was her desk where she could sit here and work. And honestly, this is a picture of them. Yeah. They had a lot of fun. Hosted a lot of parties in this house. Everybody's always intrigued. Ta-da! And 8-track. Yes. So this was the main living room and kitchen area. My stepmother loved to cook. And so this is kind of like an octagon, half octagon that would face the lake. And my dad's trophy wall. Many plaques of his accomplishments, fishing and school donations, and spotted trout, striped bass, peacock bass from Brazil, turkey, deer. It's truly a trophy wall. Shark. So this is the living area. They used to play cards here. Living room is filled with our families, her family, my dad's family, me, myself. That was a pike caught Great Slave Lake in Canada. Deer in Sonora, Texas, which I honestly am in Sonora, Arkansas, a deer. Again, the abalone shell. My stepmother loved Mexico and Costa Rica, and so there was she loved the Mexican influence. So this is the other main door, and that's of Beaver Lake. Coming down the other wing of the house. This was about a $150 shower curtain, but it was perfect with the deer and the truck and the red barn, the old house. Beautiful colors, beautiful colors. I had this all redone. The plumbing guy had taken out the gold toilet for a septic problem and replace it with a white toilet. And I couldn't have a white toilet in this room, so I primed it and colored it gold. Yes, I did. This was a second bedroom, the double bed in it. So every room had a walkway out to the back porch. This was my bedroom in the back. I call it the parrot room. As I mentioned, my stepmother loved Mexico. And we come out to the back patio and noticing the sun hitting the bluff in the evening. We have been filming with the backdrop. I'm going to miss this. I live on top of the hill. I don't know if my step niece will keep it the way it is, or gut it, or demolish it, as been mentioned, but it will be her property, and I told her I just hope that she will love it as much as her grandmother did. Yeah. And I was so excited a few years ago when I was going through the house and found this old yellow and orange tablecloth, heavy-duty vinyl with the yellow chairs. 70s, man. This is 70s. And you know, this is where I've been having my outdoor studio. Yeah. So, and okay, so once in a while in the episodes you'll hear that big bang. I call it the buzzard gun, because with these little baby calves, the black-headed buzzards or vultures come out and they want to be around these little live babies, and they are dangerous. So we set off this buzzard gun with a propane for it to build up, so it will shoot like a rifle and scare off the buzzards. And this was a sailfish my dad had caught on a line down in Pompano Beach, Florida, decades ago. So now you've got a real good idea of where I've been having our outdoor studio. And with seasons and time, things change. And so I don't know where I'll be hosting my future shows, but we all just keep rippling along and making changes, going with the flow, or causing wakes and ripples to make it a better world. Happy fall, y'all.